Greetings, members, one and all of the Salivation Nation. The International Monetary Fund gives Russia its highest reserves. What do they do with that money? Instead of helping other nations, poorer nations, which was an option, they buy gold. Let's explore! Indeed, they buy gold and add to their reserves in the following ways. This comes to us from RT.com and was shared with me by Joseph Contini. Very kind of him. This is a transfer from the International Monetary Fund that pushes Russia's international reserves to a historic high. Russia's international reserves, the world's fourth largest, jumped by $20 billion, or 3.4%, in a week, following a transfer from the International Monetary Fund. The country's reserves reached $615.6 billion as of August 27th, the Russian central bank said, hitting a new historic maximum. As of the 20th of August, Russia's international reserves were $595.6 billion. The growth is mainly attributed to the billions of dollars that the country received from the IMF. As you know, the IMF has a breadbasket of currencies, and the dollar is the king of them all. The IMF gave Russia around $17.5 billion of those dollars in its special drawing rights. As part of the global $650 billion SDR allocation that aims to support the world economic recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic. The ongoing allocation is the largest distribution of monetary reserves by the IMF on record, and it all went to Russia. Russia got 2.71% of that amount. According to the IMF, countries can use the special drawing rights to support their economies or grant them to other countries, but cannot use the fiscal space to delay economic reforms or for debt restructuring. Special drawing rights can be exchanged for any freely convertible currency. Experts earlier noted that Russia could transfer its IMF tranche in favor of poorer states or to support Belarus. However, the Central Bank of Russia announced that it would add the IMF funds to its reserves. That's where it went, and that's what makes them go sky high to a new record. The previous maximum of Russia's international reserves was recorded in the spring, when they rose to $605.9 billion over the week from May 22nd to May 28th. Russia's international reserves are highly liquid foreign assets held by the country's central bank and the government. They consist of foreign currency funds, SDRs, reserve positions in the IMF, and monetary gold. And we know that gold is a Tier 1 asset, is recognized by the Central Bank of Central Bankers, the Bank of International Settlements. The central bank's target level for Russia's international reserves is $500 billion. And to me, knowing that they're putting it into gold, or at least a substantial portion of it into gold, tells us that they see what we all know is coming eventually, the Great Reset, sort of a restructuring of the monetary system. And with that, who knows what that's going to entail. And we know that gold being a Tier 1 asset, the Bank of International Settlements saw this coming. And we know that currencies are fragile around the world because of modern monetary theory, quantitative easing that they're doing ad nauseum these days, and hyper overdrive, because they know that they are protected by whatever reset is to come. Whether it be gradual or not, sooner or later, something's got to give somewhere, and we could be propelled in that new system much quicker than many people think. And we'll see. But regardless of what that looks like, we know that the dollar is under threat as a top reserve currency, as China and Russia especially want to move away from reliance on the dollar. And I think, when we talk about these nations buying oil, other nations buying oil from Russia, China, Russia, they're working together, that puts into threat. It puts a great threat on the dollar in due course as their economies grow, and ours is kind of just stagnant right now. Things going on, with myriad of different factors that come into play. But regardless, very interesting story. Gold is a metal that, no matter what is stamped or branded on the metal, no matter how boring it may look, like the barge that you see before you here, or a beautiful St. Gaudens gold double eagle, or what have you, we know that it serves the same purpose to preserve our wealth over the course of a span of time. And certainly nation states understand this. That's why they are part of their holdings. Many of these banks do have a physical stockpile of gold. And I think that is something that should be a lesson to us all, because we can become our own central bank, and I highly encourage you to do so, to add some gold into your portfolio, even if it's at a tenth of an ounce at a time, or even a gram. If you can find a good deal on it, and I will encourage you to shop around for those deals, even for the smaller sizes, because you do typically pay a lot more for gold of that size. But regardless, very interesting story, and I think we're going to see more stories like this, where these nations, especially the BRICS nations, are adding more gold to their portfolio because they know that the dollar may be king now, and they want to try to separate themselves from that. The petrodollar is under threat. When we see transactions occurring between other nations and other currencies or gold. Gold is the international currency for the ages, that's for sure. Indeed. And by the way, it is being used as currency in regards on so many different levels these days even. It's not just a barbaric relic, that's for sure. It is alive and kicking and well. Dense, heavy, unreactive, doesn't pay dividends, but it can be used in transactions. So let me know what your thoughts are on this video. Thanks again to Joseph Contini for sending this along to me, a great user who is a viewer of the community and here on this channel. I very much appreciate you, sir, and a multitude of gratitude to all of you for taking the time to watch this video, and to encourage you to please rate. Yes, thumbs up helps the algorithm there. Share the video, and even better help and aid to the algorithm. Comment with an algorithm food if you like, and subscribe.